The first time I ever shared my story publicly was actually in the middle of the bush in Mozambique, Africa. And we had been walking for hours and hours, and we finally came to this tree, and it was a church. And we had a full on church service under this tree. And after that, we walked for a couple more hours and we came to another tree. And the people there were singing and dancing and they were so jovial. And I was asked to share my story. I was so nervous and just shaking. And I think God really knew that I needed to be all the way in the bush in Mozambique, Africa, to have the courage to share my story. But at the end of it, every single person under this tree gave their life to Jesus. And I was so confused because I thought, if this is a church, why doesn't anyone here know Jesus? And as it turns out, it was actually a bar and they were drunk on homemade alcohol. It was quite the experience. But what I can say is from that point, I've learned how important it is that our stories are surrendered to God. I mean, not everyone is going to share their story in front of big groups or on a microphone, but the most important thing is for us to be ready and willing and have our story in God's hands so that if and when He wants to use it to impact somebody else's life, He can. And I can't imagine where my life would be if I hadn't taken that step to share my story. Because the truth is there are people on the other end of our obedience. Each of us has a story. Your story might not be the same as mine. Everyone's story is different, but our stories matter and people need to hear them. They need to hear your story so they know it's possible to overcome the obstacles and challenges and hurts that they're facing in their lives. Your story matters.